Jamar Chase also said L'Jarius Sneed wouldn't fight him. He said the whole Chiefs team was mad at him. He says the Chiefs heard the trash talk.
Pretty vocal about your thoughts about the Chiefs secondary going into the game. Was that part of what Sneed and you kind of shared back and forth?
I don't know what he was doing. I just be under people's skin sometime, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So MF won't fight me, so it's all right.
Take us through your perspectives.
Just trash talk. Chill, bro. Chill, bro.
Who instigated the trash talk? Do you remember?
Nah, I started off. The whole defense was mad at me. You know what I'm saying? He started at the beginning of the game. You seen it. I mean, everybody's seen it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I like to do. Yeah, they heard it. You don't think they heard that? All right, bro.
Seedings and scenarios. Right now, hold my water. One finger under this. Hold my basketball and I'll spin it around for you. Like this playoff scenario, I can't do it, but I want to understand it. Here we go. If you need more, we'll have an explanation, but here's pretty simple. Baltimore Ravens and AFC North Division title 1 seed, lone in first, and a bye. This is pretty simple. The Bills, the team that wins, the Bills or Miami, move up here. They play at 8:20. Buffalo is favored by 3 in Miami. Here's how the 3 seed works. 3 seed, pretty simple. Chiefs are in. Chiefs may not play their starters. The starters would run out maybe for a play and try to get their bonuses, but I would expect not. For example, Chris Jones needs one more sack to get 10. Kelsey needs 16 yards to get 1,000 for the 8th time in a row. Probably nobody's going to beat that anyways, but that's how it would work out. I want to run the starters out, but then you worry about them getting hurt. The line is right now. Chargers by 3. Chiefs not playing the Chargers. My only question is the Chargers bad enough for their time to be up and just not playing well and just giving up on the team? 4th seed. Jacksonville loses or ties. If the Jacksonville would lose, and the Colts and Texans would win, they would move up to the 4 spot. 5 spot. Browns, they have clinched the 5 spot. Now it's going to get a little haywire. They won't know who it is until Jacksonville loses to the Colts and the Texans win. They're in the 6 or 7. What happens? There's more. Jacksonville loses to the tie. There's 7. If Jacksonville goes to Tennessee and wins it at 4, like we said. If the Steelers beat Baltimore, and again, resting their starters. If Baltimore resting their starters and Steelers playing for their playoff lives against Baltimore, they win, and the Bills lose to Miami, they're out. If Miami wins a scenario of Buffalo and Miami playing again, is a scenario. If Miami wins and Jacksonville wins and Pittsburgh loses to the Ravens, then the Bills get the 7th seed. In other words, scenarios, same thing. Just know that this time, all those scenarios, I'd like to see the Steelers and Colts play. We got to get the update for the Colts to make it to playoff. But here's how the Steelers make it. Steelers win at week 18 and Jaguars or lose. Steelers win and they're in. Steelers win week 18 and Texans versus Cardinals tie. Steelers are in. Steelers lose week 18 and Jaguars lose week 18 and Broncos win and Texans win versus the Colts. Colts does not end to a tie, aka Texans or Colts lose. Steelers are in. Now let's go over the Colts scenario to make the playoffs. In order for the Colts to make the playoffs, here's the answer. Simple. If the Colts win, they make the playoffs. They could finish the season as a 4 seed, 5, 6 seed, or 7 seed. Here's how that works. Number 4 seed wins versus the Texans. Jaguars lost or tied to clinch the AFC South. That's how the Colts would make it for the number 4 seed. For the number 6 seed, win versus the Texans and a Jaguars and Bills loss. That's how they make the 6th seed. For the number 7 seed, win versus the Texans plus a Jaguars win and a Bills win. The Bills don't make the playoff. If the Colts win and the Jaguars lose or tie, they will win the AFC South. And speaking of the Colts, if the Colts win and the Jaguars win, the Colts will be the wild card either as the 6th or 7th seed, depending on results of the Bills and Dolphins game. That's it for that.
Saturday doubleheader, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, 3:30 getting things started for the weekend. 7:15, Houston and Indianapolis playing essentially a play-in game. I mean, the winner's in, the loser's out. That's 7:15 on Saturday. You got to win an end game with Houston and Indianapolis. The winner of that game has a chance of being the 4 seed. Can host a game next week, depending on Jacksonville and Tennessee, which is noon on Sunday. Jacksonville wins, they're the 4 seed. They take care of that, they're the 4 seed, they win the division. And then Houston and Indianapolis are playing for what would be the potential of the number 6 seed or 7 seed.
Right, depending on Buffalo and Miami.
Yeah, 6 or 7. But the winner of that game is in. They just won't know if they're the 4 seed or if they're the 6 or the 7. Because the 1, 3, and 5 are already wrapped up. The Ravens got number 1, Chiefs number 3, and number 5, the Cleveland Browns. 2 seed is the winner of Buffalo and Miami. They're the 2 seed. Buffalo, there is a scenario where Buffalo will go into the game against the Dolphins with either the 2 seed or not making the playoffs.
Which is, I think, perfect. That's how I want this game to feel. I want that sort of desperation.
Here's that scenario. You ready?
Yes.
Going into the last game of the weekend, Buffalo and Miami. It's as simple as this. If Jacksonville beats Tennessee, which they've got the division on the line, and Pittsburgh goes to Baltimore and win, with Baltimore probably resting their starters and Pittsburgh playing for their playoff lives, if those 2 things happen, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore Saturday, Jacksonville and Tennessee at noon, so we'll have a 4-hour buffer to know if Buffalo is playing for the 2 seed or being eliminated from the playoffs. I think Jacksonville beats Tennessee. With how much is on the line now, Pittsburgh, looks a little better with Mason Rudolph.
He should, because he's the coach of the Baltimore Ravens. And it's a miracle that team is not even in worse physical shape than it is right now. This is the best. This is the luckiest they've been in a while.
It's a great point. I think it's going to be Chiefs and Dolphins, because I think Buffalo goes there and wins. And I'm okay with that. Miami's got to spend this entire week preparing for a game in which they are the 2 or the 6 seed. They play a home game against the 7 seed. They play a home game against Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Houston, or Indianapolis. Well, if Miami wins, there would be a number of other things. If Miami wins, there's a scenario of Miami and Buffalo rematch. If Miami wins, Jacksonville wins, and Pittsburgh loses, Buffalo would be the 7 seed, Miami the 2. There'd be a rematch.
Fun.
If Miami wins, Jacksonville loses, and Pittsburgh wins, it would be Miami and Buffalo again. So there are a couple of scenarios where it's Miami and Buffalo back-to-back weeks. But they're putting everything into it. Bradley Chubb is gone. The offensive line is still banged up. Jalen Waddle has a high ankle sprain and may not play. Xavier Howard left the game and may not play. Raheem Mostert missed the game last week. Is he going to play this weekend? I don't know. That is a mash unit of a team that is now playing for a chance to host 2 games in the playoffs, 0 games in the playoffs. Now, Miami is in the playoffs. They are the 2 or the 6. They are in. So if they lose, that's where they would end up going. If they lose, they'll go to Kansas City. It'd be Chiefs versus Dolphins. I'm fine with it.
Give me the Steelers. Give me the Colts. I don't really want CJ Stroud. I don't actually want that, but I would rather see Miami than Buffalo, and like we've laid out.
Minuscule chance the Chiefs and Bills will play in the wild card round. A few scenarios. Here are the games that matter. This is it's convoluted, and people may not even care because you may not even remember it. It's probably more of a visual thing.
Week 18, baby.
But if Jacksonville loses and Pittsburgh lose, both those things have to happen. For the Chiefs to play the Bills, both of those things have to happen. Jacksonville lose and Pittsburgh loses. That's it.
Which they shouldn't
and Buffalo.
do.
Sorry. Buffalo loses, Jacksonville loses, Pittsburgh loses. All three of those teams lose. It'll be Chiefs and Bills. Miami loses, it'll be Chiefs and Dolphins. I think they're facing off against the Dolphins. I don't think they'll be playing the Bills in the wild card round. I think it'll be the Dolphins, Pittsburgh, Houston, or Indianapolis.